Alright, what's going on, guys? Jeff here, back again with another video. So today we'll be talking about the whole 10-2 inverted yield curve and also possible recession talk. So the thing is that a lot of people probably has been talking about this as well, and I thought that I should probably make my own version of this, something that would be slightly easier to understand for people who are not really in the market for so long. All right. So first of all, we already understand what 10-year Treasury yield is, and then the 2-year Treasury yield. Okay, so the 10-2 basically it just means 10 minus 2. So for example, if you have say $1, okay, let's just say you have let's just put it as you have what's an easy number, $100,000. Okay, you have $100,000 and you buy a 10-year Treasury bond, and let's just say they give you 2% at the moment. Okay, they are going to give you 2% because in the whole 10-year they're expecting the whole 10-year to have a long-term running a 2% interest rate for that. So it kind of makes sense. Okay, you're going to be getting your $2,000 every single year for the next 10 years. Okay, for the 2-year bond, for example, it might be slightly lesser, which would be, let's just say, for example, 1.5%. Okay, it means for the next 2 years, okay, you're going to be getting $1,500 for the next 2 years, and you'll be done. Okay, and then maybe for the 1-year Treasury bond would most likely be, I don't know, like 0.8% or so and such. All right, so let's just say that because of how the yield curve actually work, okay, over here, why people are talking about this as much as they are right now. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in for you guys. When you see these gray columns over here, these are all recessions. Okay, they're either recession or just pandemic, because I have to just add that in. Okay, at the start here at the 1980s and the start of 1980s and such, this is the Paul Volcker era where we had hyperinflation and we have 2 recessions back to back. Okay, in 1991, over here we have the 1990s, we have another recession. Over at the 2000, this is the 2001, so this is most likely the dot-com bubble where they have another recession. This is the 08, which I think pretty much everyone probably knows about, the financial crisis. And over here, a very, very small one, which is the pandemic. So right now, the pattern that we have been seeing is that if the line goes below this 0, it goes below 0, we are going to see a recession. Okay, so over here, you see that it goes down below the 0, bam, recession. Okay, went back up. Okay, and then go back down below 0 again, recession again. Okay, and then they stay above. Okay, they kept on staying above, and over here they went below again, an inverted yield curve again, and then we got a recession. Same thing happened here again, inverted again, recession again. Okay, and they say that it happened 5 out of the 6 times. Okay, the 6 times is basically 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, 4, 5, 6. Well, 7. Well, so 6 of the 7 times. Okay, so yeah, that one time that it actually happened here, which is over right here in the 1998. Okay, it actually inverted to negative 0.05. No recession yet, and then another time where it was more drastic, down to negative 0.45, and then we actually saw a recession for the dot-com bubble. All right, so why does this actually, how do you actually have any way to have an inverted yield curve? Okay, it's very, very simple. It's simply because, like, for example, where we keep on talking about how rates are going to be increasing, okay? When Jerome Powell says that, okay, we're going to be increasing by 0.25%, for example. And we expect these to be short-term measures to actually help to lower down inflation as much as possible. Okay, so when they do this kind of thing, where they're trying to lower down inflation as much as they can in the short-term perspective, okay, it also means that the short-term bonds will be a lot higher. Because, for example, if let's just say right now in 2022, if, for example, in 2024, I expect the interest rates for the Federal Reserve are going to be at about 3% or so, I would expect my 2-year Treasury bonds to at least give me 3.2%, for example. I would want to ask for 3.2% because if the Treasury yield is getting 3% as it is, it doesn't make sense for me to be taking all the risk. If anything, I would want to at least be doing as well as what the Treasury yield is doing. Correct? So if that's the case, I will be asking for 3.2%. Okay, but at the same time, when you're getting 3.2% for your 2-year, okay, you're not going to get 4% for your 10-year, because the thing is that in 10 years, Okay, the Federal Reserve is most likely going to be lowering down your rates. The rates is most likely going to be going up, 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 up. 2025, you're going to go down, 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 down. 2026, everything's going back to 2% again. So in the whole 10-year period of time, you are taking into 2032. Okay, in year 2032, we're going to be expecting from 2022 to 2032, there will only be about, let's say, 2.3% or 2.5% interest rates. However, for the short term of that 2 years, okay, we'll be getting this a short period of time, this 2 years, we might be getting 3.2%. And because of that, that's called an inverted yield curve. That's how you kind of get the inversion of the yield curve. Okay, so something interesting for us to really look at is, why are we talking about this? Because of this over here, right here. Okay, April 1st, we just inverted on the yield curve again. Okay, and of course, I don't want to be someone who is pessimistic or anything, but in terms of how the pattern actually worked out, 6 of the 7 times it worked out. Okay, and for this one, we don't know if it will become 6 of the 8 times, or would it be 7 of the 8 times for the next recession. So hopefully it was the former, and it is the former and not the latter, of course. But yeah, I do think that personally, I do think that the recession might not really be coming that soon, simply because I do think that if Jerome Powell or the Federal Reserve in general continue to increase rates at this manner, I don't think that the recession will come so soon. Of course, if we actually take into consideration of what had happened during Paul Volcker era, okay, during this whole era, okay, let's just see if we can, this whole era, Paul Volcker era, they were having 11% inflation, 16% inflation. It was crazy, okay? And the thing is that they had to go all the way up to 1.17, okay? And 1.17 is because they are doing the 10 minus 2, okay? It does not mean that the 10-year treasury yield at that time was at 1%. It's not the case, because at that time, most likely, okay, your 10-year treasury yield was most likely like 16%. And your 2-year treasury yield is mostly like, 15%. Okay, you're getting a lot of money because of how hyperinflated it was back then. So that's why we actually look at the 10-2 curve, because that way you can actually see how it is in terms of the risk, which is for the 2 years, which is how much risk there is, and 10-year, which is in the longer run, how much of the interest rate is going to be matching to it. But yeah, in terms of how recession-wise, I don't want to be the person to say that, we are going to be getting into recession or such. But of course, okay, it's going to be quite simple. It simply means that we are going to get into recession or we are not. Okay, I do know that that's going to be something that is so redundant, because of course that's kind of how the market is at all the time. But honestly speaking, I don't think that anyone can really predict what's going to be happening, simply because every single time someone do want to predict something along that line, new information comes out or new events transpire. Okay, for example, the Federal Reserve thought that, back in January and February, we thought that, the only big elephant in the room that we have to actually solve is the inflation. We didn't expect, Russia-Ukraine to actually happen, to actually dampen the whole problems that we actually already have on the supply chain problems that was actually brought forth from inflationary pressure as well, which was then also brought forth from printing money, which was brought forth from the pandemic and such. So of course, there's a lot of bringing forward in this entire conversation in terms of recession. But of course, right now we did have a yield curve inversion for the first time on the 1st of April, which of course not something that we are very happy about. So right now, the thing is that you can see that a lot of the news outlets, such as your CNBC and your Wall Street Journal, they're going to be talking about the 10-2 a lot. Okay, especially for the start of April. Okay, for this entire week, I have not been talking about treasury yield as much, because I have been just silently watching CNBC talk about the treasury yield. They actually talk about 4 basis point increment or 16 basis point downwards, and we're talking about we're talking about the changes like 0.001% difference, and they're talking about all this because these are the differences that will affect the inversion of the yield curve. This is almost like the horoscope for stock traders, okay, because it happens so often and they just treat it as like the Bible. And of course, I don't want to, like I said again, okay, I don't want to be the pessimist to say that a recession is coming, but you never know. A recession might be coming. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys.